Hello, everybody. Welcome to ICC's Game of the Week with your host, as always, Joel Benjamin. With the great success of Chinese players in the last few years, many were interested to see how they would fare in the World Cup. Of course, we could predict that a head-to-head battle would take place at some point, as it did with Ding Liren and Wei Yi in the field of 16. 16-year-old Wei emerged victorious over his 22-year-old rival, but it was anything but easy. Wei triumphed in the 10-minute game tier of the playoff, but he had to win the second match game just to get there. Now, this week's feature game will be their first match game, which went to the elder statesman of the two. A flurry of queenless tactics led to an endgame that was difficult to evaluate, let alone play. It seems to me that the World Cup has seen a lot of games with a rook fighting against two minor pieces, and notably in some of them, quite successfully. All right, let's get to it. Ding was playing white in this game, and he opens with a kind of anti-Grunfeld approach, and you see these kind of flank move orders very often in modern Grandmaster chess because the Grunfeld has become such a favorite opening of grandmasters, and so any Grunfeld players can expect their opponents to kind of zero in on them with these move orders. Now, white is getting ready to play e4. Black just feed counters the bishop, white goes e4, and it's a king's Indian, so it's now or never for d5. But white has kept his center pawns back, and he has various options. Queen b3 is one popular move here. Queen a4 check is another. e4 is possible. We occasionally see that, although it tends not to be that exciting if white wants to take with a d-pawn. But now we see one of those flank attacks against the Grunfeld. We've seen h4 in various positions. Kind of a softening up operation, but because white has not committed his center pawns, black maybe doesn't have such a quick counterattack. Now black could try h6 to answer h5 with g5, or he could try h5. Of course, whenever black plays h5, it creates a weak square on g5, although there is a weak square here compensating. But usually black just ignores that with bishop g7. And now g3, which has been kind of a Chinese favorite in the last few years. There was a game of the week from 2012 where we saw d4, and white's rash play ended up being punished. Bishop g4, h6, bishop f6, e4. This is too much. Knight db4, d5, knight d4. So white gets a big center, but black's pieces are too good. Bishop d3, c6. This is Knightish against Volokitin from San Sebastian. There were quite a lot of tactics. Black sacrificed a piece to demonstrate it, but basically white is already running into trouble in this position. g3 is a whole different tack. White is playing much more cautiously. Bishop g4, and that forces white to make a decision with the h-pawn. h6. Notice that black did not commit to kingside castling. If black had castled, then white would be more likely to take on g6. If h6, black would have a nice retreat square in h8. So here hg doesn't really accomplish anything for white, but h6 embarrasses the bishop slightly. It doesn't have a comfortable square to go to. And here, Wei takes the knight on c3. Now, he also played a game a year ago against Quarry with bishop f6, bishop g2, castles,